Drew. Now at my stream deck, there it is. Tell me something good, Drew. What do you got to say on this Friday morning in 2026?
Man, I got my greasy little fingers back on leverage yesterday and pulled off. I think it was like a 30% move in 30 minutes. Took my money, ran, and price washed back down, and we're stuck in a range. So I am honestly excited by being blue balled by Bitcoin right now, because if we can ping pong back and forth, dude. I had a lot of fun last year trading. I know people will be like, he's the problem. He's worse than JP Morgan with his 20 grand in Tether he's leveraging. But I created my own bull market last year with leverage, and I'm ready to start it back up again. And I'm holding the alt still, man. But we're going into the unknown. So I got to create my own fun. I take the situation into my own hands, feeling pretty good.
Well, today, they always wait for Friday for these big announcements. We have the tariff melee. What do you think the odds are of, at this moment in time, the Supreme Court telling Trump, "Oh no, you got to pay it all back"?
Nope, not happening. It's 70% chance on Polymarket that it does happen, though. So I had half a mind to go bet against it on Polymarket, because the implications, if we have to unwind this, is not just monetary, it's geopolitical weakness. And that's not something that's allowed for the American empire. And right now, what we're seeing is Trump, though he is kissing the wall, he is also dominating the Western Hemisphere. And I don't think that weakness is part of the allowed equation for our current political theater. So I doubt the tariffs are going to be unwound. They're going to try to posture and make it scary and shit, but I really, really doubt that they're going to walk back all of this tariff conversation and owe money back to the corporations or wherever the hell the money is going to be owed to. Very doubtful to me.
Yeah, because really it would be a mutually assured destruction of the entire global economy if he were having to pay that back. It kind of struck me as almost just media porn, just to get people talking about weird shit. Yeah,
they want to create as much. The media still hates Trump for sure in general. Fox has been slightly, Fox News has slightly held him accountable, but not really. And a lot of the conversations here in the U.S. are turning into this whole ICE debacle. They're trying to paint the image of ICE agents being some sort of 1940s Germany. And really, in my perspective, I've been wanting these levels of deportations basically my whole life. And now it's gotten to a point where, I would be, if I was the president, I'd be increasing, and Donald Trump is doing that. So that's I can talk crap and get aggravated with Trump on certain things, but the deportation, I'm very happy about. And there's many different reasons why people will be like, "Oh, have a heart. Well, stop breaking the law." I can't go to Mexico and demand health care. I can't go to any other country as an American and demand anything. I will be put in prison and deported, right? So that's what happens. And now we have a new Chaz 2.0. Did you see Chaz 2.0 started up in that Minneapolis?
I didn't know there was a Chaz 1.0.
So Chaz was an autonomous zone created by the George Soros cronies, Antifa, back in Seattle, where, they have some, cultural thing happen, and the Antifa paid actors by George Soros are funded to fly into town and then create zones where they try to control with barricades.
Oh, yeah.
So they just put up new barricades in Minneapolis, and they're they're starting to ferment across the country in those same usual suspect spots. Once again, this is I have a lot of memories of the last Summer of Love Black Lives Matter riots, because I worked them as a contractor for the cops. And so I remember just staring into the void, listening to crypto content, stacking Bitcoin at super low levels, and watching the world literally start on fire around me. And it's starting to feel like the same season's coming upon us, that kind of unrest within people. And people are aggravated because their money sucks. And people are aggravated because their way of life is deteriorating. And in America, we still are completely spoiled, but you're slightly less spoiled. And so people are freaking the fuck out, right? Because their mindset just can't handle a little bit less. So it is the situation.
Is that I guess my next question, is that a full holster and gun setup you got strapped?
Yeah. Did so yeah. So this is a 10 millimeter with 2 extra mags. It's a G20, 10 mil, 17 rounds per mag, and 3 total on you. Without so the reason why I go to the shoulder holster sometimes is because I've had the appendix and the hip carry on for like, I think 12 or 13 years. And eventually, I just like, I'm going to use these things. They're fancy, they're nice, and they are really comfortable, and I can carry a much bigger caliber with it. So, and I kind of upgrade as civil unrest signals go up. I upgrade my setup, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it is it's something that, I mean, not only just in crypto, man, but just in life, dude. Like the world is getting a little bit crazy. I walk with a smile on my face and one in the chamber. That's kind of my thesis here.
So Georgia's like a open carry.
Yeah, it's open carry and no permit needed for concealed either.
It must be the great equalizer. Like, is it? Most people in Canada would think, oh, that would be just wreak havoc on the streets, but it must bring everything.
No, I'll tell you what, people are very polite around me, and I'm polite to them, right? An armed society is a polite society, dude. And like, Georgia's got some old school cultural animosity built within it, you know what I mean? But I find it kind of funny that, literally, like, people that are, if you're a weak man that doesn't look people in the eye and doesn't walk with a concerted walk, if you're just kind of flopping around and, just kind of willy-nilly, just looking around, looking at your phone and shit, you will be fucking victimized. Absolutely. But if you are willing to look them in the eye, if you're willing to be, I don't know how to say this the right way, but just confident in yourself and also kind enough to give them the benefit of the doubt, because you have backup in case they don't get to receive that doubt anymore. It keeps, honestly, like, I haven't had any bad run-ins, and I go to downtown Atlanta, really sketchy areas, gas stations with a bunch of cretins around it and shit like that. No one ever fucking says anything to me. You know what I mean? It's just,
so you get out of the car. You get out of the car in these gas stations covered in cretins, and you just sit there and pump your gas with the holster.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Cowboy hat, everything, sunglasses. Yeah, no, I'm 100%. Like, I'm not worried at all about it. And it's like, and the fear behind a tool is ridiculous to me. It's a tool. Like, a car can be a deadly weapon too, just as we've seen in Minneapolis, right? There's many different tools that can turn into deadly weapons. It's just a matter of if it's justified to use it or not, So, yeah, and then also, man, like, the Second Amendment is something, if you don't exercise, you will lose, in my opinion. And we're losing on a cultural basis because, like, your view of gun from Canada, I think, you guys lost the cultural war for your right to bear arms, right? And that's why, like, I'm leaning in the opposite direction and just pushing it back into social acceptance. I come to Georgia, probably one out of every four, maybe one out of every three dudes is actively carrying on them at that moment too. So, this is not a state where you want to road rage. This is not a state where you want to run your mouth if you don't want to go the distance and if there's not a real reason to do it. So,
no doubt. I
yeah.
actually, come to think of it, I had a whole different approach to this stream. I wanted to ask you, I was going to call it bull run lessons. I was wondering if
Oh, yeah.
if there's anything from this particular bull run, not 2017 to 21, but 21 to 25, if you can call it a bull run, what are some takeaways?
Oh, I got many, dude. So, it's okay to round trip Bitcoin. It's not okay to round trip altcoins. Main thing. And then when I have a baseline rule that I've operated off of for years and years. It's like, if one of the altcoins does a 3 to 5x, I take 90% off the table and let the house money work for me beyond that, right? What happened in 2024 was an altcoin bull market. It was AI agents that meant and did nothing doing 100x moves in the span of a few days. We saw old school blue chip projects run 5 to 10x. And the only problem was that we were so subscribed to the 4-year cycle, nobody pulled the trigger on jeeting those altcoins because they expected so much more. They got captured by the greed bug that happens within altcoins. And I personally, I had personal goals, personal financial goals that were met by those altcoins in 24. I'm like, fuck, I'm taking the money. I'm going and building this building on my house. I'm getting my wife a new car. I'm doing all these things that I wanted to do with the altcoin bag. And they happened. Maybe they happened ahead of time. It didn't matter. The stats were there for me and the money was there for me. And so I cheated a vast majority of my biggest bags of alts, and they have receded even lower. Some of these things have receded even lower than the points that I bought them at in September 2023, because I loaded up. We're at a weird point right now, man. I use Market Cipher on the weekly time frame for my general spot loading up moments, just larger time frames where I see momentum is down, the shift is likely back to the upside. That's when I pile in a bunch of alts. Right now, dude, we have a double green dot on the weekly. And I was talking to CryptoFace about this yesterday. CryptoFace, the guy behind Cypher. And I just asked him, does the double green dot matter to you right now? And honestly, dude, it is a 50-50 balance on bearish and bullish. If you're really looking at this thing from all indicators, business cycle, 4-year cycle, all the different things, it is flat out 50-50 in my mind. So I am considering my spot alts that I do hold my long position, in essence, going into 26. But I am using Tether to create my own bull market either way, because 2025 sucked ass. I made a lot of money in alts 24, and then 2025 for the alts didn't do shit. But the Tether that I was using to trade was just as good as the alts in 2024. But in trading, I do not sleep on trades, and I am happy to take 20% gains. And I'm also happy to get stopped out. I am not one of those dudes that will raw dog the chart without a stop loss. If I choose a direction and it moves against me, I take it on the chin, I get punched in the face by the chart, get stopped out, move on, live to trade another day. A lot of people won't. I don't know why people don't use stop losses on their entire position going into a leverage trade. It's insane to me to operate that way. And that's where I know of a lot of casualties that have happened this last year from people raw dogging charts without any stops. And maybe
they don't know any better.
Maybe they don't know any better. I think what happens is they'll see an influencer with 1% of their portfolio on a trade that doesn't have a stop, and they follow. They want to get up to that level of, $100,000 on leverage. So they're willing to really, really risk it for the biscuit. And this chart, I mean, it's just been washing up and down, back and forth, just bouncing for months. So they get washed out regardless. You know what I mean? So yeah, I liked what Face had said a few weeks ago, where he's just cockroaching in and out of crypto trades. Cockroach in, scurry like a cockroach out. Take your money and get the hell out of the way. 10 a.m. sucks ass. You know, every single day, 10 a.m. is just like a 1 minute candle that's 1% up or 1% down. It washes both sides of the trade out. Pretty crazy time frames that we're in, but I'm happy with 20% a day. I did pare down, and I don't believe in nearly as many alts this year as I did in 2024. You know, that trust or that idea that all ships are going to rise with the tide, in my mind, is completely gone. You know, there's a lot of these altcoin companies that planned their business around some alt season, like the 4-year cycle, you know, in our minds last year or the year before should have provided. It did not come. Many of these companies are dead inside, and they're just waiting to tell the public, yeah, we fucked up. We leveraged, we got washed out on October 10th. We didn't have the right revenue. We were hoping for the big explosion in our token price, etc. These bodies still have not floated up to the surface yet. So it's not like a time frame. I'm just going to go through Coin Market Cap and just listen to the crowd. Oh, you like this? Oh, maybe that'll do well. No, it's a time for me to be blunt, brutal, selective, and protective of my money. All right, that's where I'm at right now.
It's a strange, like, moving forward with AI too. It's like now that we have basically the world vibe coding. I mean, the next series of alts in moving forward in this 4-year cycle, if you want to call it that. I mean, it's going to come fast and furious. So it's like whatever was made on. I would almost consider all the blue chip alts kind of like a legacy.
Yeah.
And
yeah, utility. I mean, there's like the only thing that makes me happy about Chainlink is I feel very strongly it's going to be here used for a while, until Google comes out, if they ever do, with like their own Web3 Oracle version. Until like Google or AWS comes out with their own Oracle, Chainlink's got to use. So it's not like I have this 50-year vision of Chainlink. It's more like a 5 to 10-year strong conviction that it's going to be useful for that time frame, because eventually they will, the powers that be will integrate their own Web3 Oracle. They will figure out the price action themselves. They won't rely on a private organization, Chainlink, to do it for them. And this market structure bill's got me, like, I'm a little concerned for DeFi right now with the requirements of KYC and AML on DeFi protocols. Arrow and Morpho, I think I'm just going to see what happens. I'm not going to cheat them, because my thesis behind those is just that Coinbase is going to drive a lot of their, institutional comfort of, because they're curious about crypto, but they want to go to somewhere that's trusted, and Coinbase is the trusted spot. Coinbase is the one chilling, Aerodrome and Morpho. So there's kind of landing pads that I think are still going to be useful even with the KYC and AML coming out. But, Aave might run into some serious shit. Some of these old school DeFi protocols might run into a lot of turbulence from this KYC coming in.
Yeah, and by design, when the big money comes in, they don't really come in to play with. They come in to take over the game. So it's going to be interesting to see who survives. And maybe out of that calamity, we might get some vibe coders that create maybe the next level of DeFi. We're going to have another level of DeFi. If DeFi gets like AML'd and know your KYC'd, then it kind of defeats the purpose. So at that point, absolutely, we're going to need another layer of DeFi.
Yeah. It's, and that's like, I keep like wanting to like champion these privacy tokens, but then like Zcash is ran by a tranny, or developed by a tranny. And like, I run into distrust with Zcash because they're 2 minutes from the CIA headquarters. right? So if I'm going to imagine that Zcash is some secret pirate chain that we're hiding all these transactions on chain from, and it's got a group of people that are literally like a couple gas stations away from the CIA, we're kidding ourselves, right? The price action's been there for sure. But, Monero got attacked, still chugged forward. The privacy coins charts look some of the best, except Midnight came and it was doing good. It's so new though, it's hard to tell if Midnight's got longevity, It's really hard to tell. But I want privacy coins to win. I do. I really want them to win.
I think that's the signal that I'm kind of watching too, and like more like the metaphorical signal is, and the literal signal is Samurai Guy. Like if he stays in jail, we kind of know where we're going. If he gets pulled out, even if it's just out of public demand, it's still a positive signal. But as long as he's in there, I mean, it kind of says it all.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is we've had meetings in the past with some folks on the 3-letter side, and MetaMask has your social security number. So, it's like we act like there's this veneer that we can hide on. There's not. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tether is a 3-letter agency asset just to track big bags of, say, North Korean money, right? Big bags of those things. I wouldn't be surprised by any degree if that is the case. So it's just about are you worth the squeeze? Are you, as someone with $1 million or $100,000 on chain, worth, going after when they have, all those other fish to fry there? I want to ask you this, Matty. Have you heard of hydrogen infused water?
I have.
These
yeah.
things?
I had one.
Is
of
this
those.
good? You did?
Yep.
Look at this thing. It's like a lava lamp.
Yeah.
And my wife gave this to me. I don't know if it does anything. I can't feel anything anymore.
Well, if you do enough gumshoeing, which I do now, my knee jerk is before I knee jerk buy anything, I knee jerk go down the rabbit hole. So when I went down the rabbit hole of the hydrogen water, I followed Gary Betka or something like that.
Brecka? Yeah,
Brecka.
Gary Brecka, yeah.
So then, because I was going to say, well, if I'm going to buy something, maybe I'll buy from a trusted influencer, which is my first mistake, right? And so you go to his website and it's like $300, right? But you're like, but he's a trusted influencer. It must be the best. It must be the best hydrogen water. And then luckily the algorithm kind of fed me all these, is hydrogen water this or that, right? And so the one that made me, I still bought it, but it wasn't until I got to the end of it and realized that most of the hydrogen water bottles are basically branded. So they're mass produced and then they're sold to like a Gary Brecka or a whoever, and then they brand it under their own brand and charge whatever they want based on their influence. So the same bottle that I would have bought from Gary at $300, I ended up buying for like $70, and it's the exact same bottle. It all comes to the same warehouse in the States somewhere, and then from
kind of
like
there, marshmallows.
What's that?
Well, it's just like marshmallows. It's or sunglasses.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah.
And so the problem with here's my last take on health is you can usually feel a big difference coming from a deficit. Right? Like if you're unhealthy, you eat like shit, you don't exercise, and then you start doing that, and then you add in hydrogen water, well, you're going to see a net gain based on your activities. But I don't know if you're like a guy like you're exercising, there's no health problems. Adding in hydrogen water, it could add a nice little placebo effect, which I'm all about.
That's probably it. That's probably it. I'll bet you. Because when I first drank this thing, I felt like Quagmire on Family Guy, just giggity. You know what I mean? Like it was cool. And I have it probably once a day or something like that. I got one for my mom. My first thought when my wife gave me this is hydrogen is already water's already pretty well infused with hydrogen. So I don't quite understand this, but we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll die. Maybe I won't. But I've been trying to eat better.
Yeah.
No.
What are you
I
eating
got
these
like a
days?
paleo thing. I got like chicken and kale. My wife's been making me, and then just a lot of chicken and vegetables, chicken and rice. You know, I was feeling, yeah, very uppity on the hydrogen stuff. But I've been trying to eat better. Like I did eat like shit over the holidays. I ate so much food. I got up to like 265 pounds. So now I'm trying to like bring it back down, you know, keep it within reason and stuff like that. So, you know, you take a
Yeah,
couple weeks off the gym and go out on a couple of vacations. It's
for
it's
sure.
it's a lot.
My hydrogen bottle ended up in my cupboard with all the like the things. It's basically one of the those stores in the malls where you can buy everything on TV, but it's all in a store. That's one of my
Yeah.
cupboards. It's got the juicer, it's got the extractor, it's got all the fancy things for health. And at the end of the day, as long as you just drink water, eat a lot of red meat, and exercise, you're going to be pretty healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. And I saw someone in the chat is like up or down today. I don't have the list in front of me, but I know we have a lot of data coming out. I think we just had
The jobs
some
report's coming out, I think.
unemployment data.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it jobs report? What are we at right now? Is it 90,600?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Can you kind of walk me through where you think we're at? Because I just feel like we've been so long in fear. I'm looking at a double green dot. I feel uppity.
Is that a double
Talk me
green
out of
dot
this.
on the weekly Bitcoin chart, or what chart is he referring to, the double
Yes.
green dot?
The Bitcoin chart. The Bitcoin chart is a double green dot. And the thing is, last time we had a double green dot, we were at $19,000 Bitcoin. So like I haven't seen this signal in
Hmm.
years. And I'm surrounded by a lot of people that are understandably bearish and shit. But fuck man, like I haven't seen this signal since we were damn near like a guttural bottom for Bitcoin, and I've used that signal over and over again for two cycles now, and it's
Hmm.
played out really well for me. So I'm like trying to reach out to people that might have bearish outlooks to like convince me to be reasonable here. But yeah, I mean it's flashing, dude, and it's flashing a giga bottom, and I'm looking at like a historic level of time that we've been in extreme fear right now, you know, which
Yeah.
is it's just crazy to me. So, what do you think?
Well, I mean, we first got to get over 98.3, which is the bull market rejection zone. It's where these eyes are. And if you like, if we're just going by technical astrology, the charts look pretty bearish because you have this, bear flag right here that we're still kind of building out. And on top of every pattern is basically another pattern, right? So this bear flag is really the right shoulder building out of this massive head and shoulders pattern. But none of these things are guaranteed. So if you wanted to, like, I can find something bullish on this chart, and I think it's it would be called a hidden bullish divergence on the MACD. So you have these higher lows, right, on the price action. Come on, I lost it. And then you have some lower lows on the MACD, which means there's it's almost like the momentum is going to start sneaking up. Hidden bullish divergence isn't like normal divergence, like it's maybe a reversal, but it is better than negative divergence or bearish divergence. So this is on the weekly chart, and to me, it's the patterns on the weekly chart that matter most. I mean, you can go and dig around on a 4-hour chart for anything you want if you're in and out, if you're sniping, but if you're long term, I think this is pretty bullish. But of course, I mean, it's at the end, we're living in a fundamentally driven market right now, right? So
Yeah.
the jobs and the unemployment could come out and it could go one way, and then the tariff thing could come out and it can go another way. So it's like all these charts are basically they work well if you're following the direction. So do we know what direction we're in? Are we in a bullish direction, uptrend or downtrend? We're kind of in a sideways trend for about 14
Yeah.
months, right? But
Yeah.
if you look at all the real metrics, like if you go onto like all the quants and stuff like that, there's everything screaming. Like you'll always see a chart and it'll say it hasn't done this since 2022 in the bear market. So if you just follow those signals, well, maybe we are at the bottom of the new bear market, which really hasn't been that bad. If you really think about it, like how long does a bear market last? It lasts about 12 months, right? And if you think about, where the price went up with Trump, November, December, we had a little bit of gain up there, but we've basically been sideways to down for 12 months. Now that's pretty optimistically speaking.
Well, and I was kind of disappointed by the downside we got out of the Venezuela night invasion, and then NVIDIA getting cut off from Chinese purchases of the H200 and imports being looked at by, like, I thought that China, Taiwan, NVIDIA conversation in response to Trump's Venezuela move would have gotten us down to at least near production levels or near 80K, and it didn't even fucking wince. Like, it's almost like the real macro sell-off juice has kind of ran out. You know what I mean? Like, we had Japanese yen carry trade happen at that final big red candle on this weekly chart that started building out the channel we're in right now. And the last time we had yen carry trade go down like that, fuck, it pushed us down to $49,000, but it's not really pushing us down to where, like, I want cheaper Bitcoin, selfishly, and I was kind of disappointed that we didn't get down to that. Like, that's kind of why I'm on my bullish bullshit again. It's like we have, like, I'm kind of running out of, like, ways that this macro chaos that's going right now can keep pushing down the price. And I was talking to some silver dealers and some gold dealers last night. A lot of their customers are now starting to look at unwinding their precious metals, and they're asking about Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Because everything else is like at extreme all-time highs, and Bitcoin's like sitting here just edging us and ranging, right? And it looks pretty damn flat if you're comparing it to gold or the S&P 500 or really anything. So another thing that could happen, and I think is going to happen, is a lot of these profit takers of gold and silver, they're going to be looking, and some of that money is going to make its way into the Bitcoin chart, and silver's at a $4.5 trillion market cap. Gold's at a $31 trillion market cap. Bitcoin's at a $2 trillion market cap. Even if a chunk of gold and Bitcoin, gold and silver made its way to Bitcoin, that's a big fucking deal. You know what I mean? So it's kind of exciting for me. But yeah, that's why I'm feeling cautiously optimistic right now. I definitely am.
It's almost like you have bullish and bearish blue balls in this market. Like, if it's gonna go down, go down. If it's gonna go up, go up.
Right.
I see my son is on my iPad. He's infiltrated the chat.
Oh, right. No,
I see a Duke. I see a Duke. he's shilling his own channel.
Dude, that is awesome. That is awesome.
We're gonna have to ban you, Duke, for shilling your own channel.
Oh, I got my boy on iPad as well. I got the daughters. They're kind of like kid version of an iPad that like teaches them letters and words and stuff like that. And I had to give in to my daughter finally and get her a freaking cell phone. So I got her one of those parent controlled cell phones with only approved apps and stuff like that. And it's like, I have an old school mentality, but I don't want my kids to fall behind technologically. Right. And my daughter's super smart. She uses the internet for information. Like, and that's what I'm pushing for. It's like, don't use the internet just for entertainment. Like, I can understand if you want to be entertained, but the main use case of the internet is for information. Use it for information. Make yourself smarter and better with it. Use it as a tool. You know what I mean? So I did have to give in this Christmas and get the daughter her cell phone. But now I can call her when I'm like laying in bed and lazy. Like, hey, let the dogs out. And so it's that's pretty cool, I guess.
It's a tough one though, because like you don't want to, like, Duke has a phone, but it's not like on the massive restriction, and you just don't want to escalate the looking at it. Like it usually sits in a bowl, right? But I know it's just a slippery slope that keeps on growing, right?
It is. Like most of my time on social media is just like tracking analytics, seeing what pockets are working, what pockets are not working in terms of like information flow that I put out. You know, but I've kind of known the internet as a tool for a long time when I was in music. Like, you know this, we use the internet to spread our music and stuff. And after this show, you better send me a link to your son's YouTube. I'll show his YouTube too. I'll show everyone's YouTube. I'm absolutely gonna Duke the Nuke is what it is. Okay, cool.
But there's a bunch.
Right,
there's a bunch. So you'll have to look for his. I don't think he's posted in a while. I always tell him, it's like, how are you going to get subs if you don't post? You got to be like your dad, post every day and get 1 sub a month. That's how we build these channels.
Make sure you like and subscribe.